interview, we're having a look at a point that had emerged within the Destiny forums, and we'll provide the link within the description box for further context or reference. However, this is a point that we're going to assist and support with for all human beings that may or might face a similar point within their world and their reality. And this is within the context of exercising to exert or release accumulated or compounded emotions, feelings, and as reactions. And we're going to walk you through in showing what in fact really happens within exercising within that starting point of taking out your internal energy positions through exercise, and why it is that the only way to in fact walk through and release self from reactions of emotions and feelings, especially accumulated or compounded ones, can only be done with writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application. As we have done an interview on self-expression, which will also link to this video interview, because it's important to have a listen and walk through that video interview as well, because it will also contextualize why it is that especially energy reactions can only be walked through writing self-forgiveness and self-corrective application, because your energy reactions are in fact your doors to and as your self-expression. So if one attempts to try to exert energies out onto, toward, or through exercising, one is in fact limiting one's opportunity, actually stopping one's opportunity of self-realization. So let's have a look at how this manifests. So the example we're going to take is simply all forms of exercise, in where one would deliberately exercise to release pent up emotions, feelings, or reactions, or when one had a horrible day and one go running, boxing, jumping, swimming, anything within that state, and why it is that one would experience a temporary perceptual experience of release, when in fact what happens is one had further integrated that or those reactions into one's mind consciousness system, into one's human physical body, and actually created a additional layer within one's total mind consciousness system within the physical, and had not in fact faced those or such reactions as self. So let's have a look at how this happens. Let's say you have your accumulated experience of frustration. So let's utilize the example that we have walked within the video interview regarding self-expression. And the example we utilized was coming into an apartment, and it was your partner's responsibility or their day to clean up the apartment, and you'd come home, your partner wasn't there, and everything was just a total complete mess, and you immediately reacted in frustration, and you were like busy cleaning and moving and shifting and changing the whole apartment, but within that state constantly and continuously. And then within that you decided to go and exercise to just try and get rid of this total possessed energy state. And one goes running, and as you're running, you're like really exerting your physicals in this frustration, so you can feel it seeping throughout your physical body. And it's like the more you run, the more it like actually bulbs inside you, And the more it builds, it becomes more physical. So this is the point that we'd like you to pay attention to when you're exercising within a state of energy, where what happens is like your physical starts becoming more substantial in how it hardens. It's like on the inside you're feeling your muscles more in becoming like more solid, and it feels like your total body is more bigger in terms of its muscular composition than it would normally be. So what you're busy doing as you are running, as exercising within this energy position, you're actually integrating that total position into your human physical body faster. So usually the mind consciousness system would, if you are going into an energy position, that energy position would resonate and filter through into the subconscious personality. From the personality, it would eventually take time into how you live that frustration out over time as a pattern or a habit, and then eventually through space-time integrate into the human physical body as an actual layer of the mind consciousness system. And so the mind consciousness system would solidify that particular personality of yourself. And then when and as you're facing similar situations in your world and your reality, you're always immediately going to frustration. And there the mind consciousness system has total absolute control over and of you. However, with exercising, what is then compressed is that space-time that the mind consciousness system used to integrate and layer a possession into and as itself through into the human physical body. So as you're running, you're speeding up time for the mind consciousness system in taking this energy possession through becoming the personality as a subconscious immediately into the physical, because you're now exerting your human physical body more, you're accentuating the physical processes more, and within that the mind can move faster within the human physical body to integrate that possession point. And so the more and more and more one accepts and allow oneself to do that, to integrate energy possessions from the mind into the physical within that quantum nature through exercising, one will start noting how through time one's frustration can change to physical exertions of frustration within one's world and one's reality towards other human beings, where one's frustrations will become more prominent. With, for example, little things as when you're sitting in front of your computer and it's just not working, and it's frustration, you're banging your fists on the table or throwing pens around when they're not working, or when something just goes wrong, it doesn't go your way, your frustrations literally becomes more physical over space-time. Other human beings' frustrations might become more internalized, where you start shouting, yelling, and screaming at yourself and others more and more and more. So it's a complete quantum integration of a mind point that happens through exercising. And even within, for example, let's take your kickboxing or boxing or doing karate or whichever particular physical formed exercise that has a physical exerted nature within it, in where one would, for example, imagine something or someone in front of oneself, and whether it be also yourself, and you're taking out all of that energy possessions out onto and towards that projected alternate person or self. The same principle applies here, but you are actually in fact specifying the nature of your energy possession more. So let's say there's a particular person you're taking this out on within your imagination as you're exercising. What you're doing is, in your quantum integration of the mind into the physical, is specifying that particular energy reaction towards that type of person, towards that type of situation or environment, or even that particular part of self that self is trying or attempting to take one's reactions out on. And thus it's not in fact a release that one experiences, it is quantum integration. And once that energy possession is successfully integrated from the mind into the physical, one think or believe or perceive one is experiencing a release, but it's simply a stop that one is experiencing as the mind within that point stops, because the energy has successfully integrated into and as the human physical body. So when you're exercising, it is to exercise with breath, only breathing and being here and being with your human physical body. I mean, it's really pretty cool in terms of when you're exercising and you're moving in and with your human physical body, experiencing the breath, the heartbeat, the blood flow, the muscle tissue. Where is your body indicating pains? Where is your body indicating resistances? Where is your body indicating uncomfortability? And I mean, even through all those parts, one can assist and support oneself in one's process, in having a look at how it is that one is through one's mind consciousness system, influencing one's human physical body in what the pains are indicating. We will, in time to come, do some interviews on physical human body reference points in what pains are indicating where within one's human physical body, in even the various different mind layers, the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind, and what the variations of pain is that one will experience within those contexts. But for now, we suggest, in terms of practicing exercising with simply breathing and being with your human physical body, again, it's going to be a process, because we've got quite a tendency to have commercialized exercising in terms of various aspects in presentation, health, experience, personalities, and things like that. And with exercising, it is to utilize it constructively within one's process in establishing equality and oneness with one's human physical body. And there's a being that is walking this process in terms of breathing with exercising, Bastian Newman. We'll also provide his YouTube channel here, where one can have a listen to how he's been walking, exercising with breathing, as a practical example of how to assist and support oneself. So with exercising, again, can utilize it as an opportunity to stop the mind, be here with the human physical body, and simply have it be a point of assisting and supporting self within the physical, in facilitating one's process of seeing where, how, why, and when one is and has been accumulating mind systems in one's body, which would be indicated by pains. And I mean, if you pick up quite a few pains in your human physical body, one can simply sit with oneself after the exercise or in the evenings, and take a most prominent pain point that has come up in your human physical body. One can, for example, place a hand on the pain point, take a breath, breathe out, just be breath for a moment, hold that pain, and one can see what comes up immediately within one's mind, which will be a reference in relation to what the pain represents. Again, being able to do that will take time, practice, and dedication, especially that moment of being silent here with breathing with the physical and just accessing that pain to see what comes up from it. And if you require support and assistance, we do have the Destiny Forums. Within the Destiny Forums, we have a thread called Practical Living Experiences. We suggest going there and asking any questions in relation to the physical that one may or might experience, and will assist and support with perspectives where, as, and when needed. And right, so here a practical reference to how exercising in energy possession, what it does, and to realize that exercising and taking it out on something or someone, even in one's imagination, is only compromising self, and it is not a form of self-forgiveness. I mean, this process that we're walking is a space-time application of step by step, breath by breath. There are no shortcuts, and the only way of applying self-forgiveness is walking self-forgiveness practically in your writing and your speaking. And how and why, if you try and attempt to exert or take out or release energy reactions through exercising, you're not in fact facing you. You are deliberately actually suppressing, hiding, and running away from yourself as those reactions. Because again, the only way to self-realize through reactions is doing your writing, self-forgiveness, self-corrective application, your introspection, in having a look at what those separate parts represent of self and what self has separated itself from. And again, the only way to do that is through writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application. Thank you very much.